Hi, this is Tavi Greiner, Astronomy.FM's Vice President of Communications. If you enjoy our programming, please let us know with a donation to Astronomy.FM/donate. We really do rely on your support, and it's true, every little bit counts.
AFM.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
The curtain of night is drawn back. The telescopes are trained. The domes are open. The audience is set. Now, step into the event horizon.
Let's do a semi-normal introduction here. You are listening to the Event Horizon here on Astronomy.FM radio. It is December the 8th. Friday night, 2017. Sometime after 9 o'clock in the evening. We'll just put it that way, and that would put it sometime after 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, December the 9th, 2017, Universal Time. So glad to have everybody in our chat room right now. Appreciate you being here. My name is Marty Kunz with my co-host.
Hi everybody, it's me, Nick Evetts. Well, you would know it's me, Nick Evetts. I'm 2 Echo Zero Lima Uniform November. And it's great to be finally live. Yeah. Oh dear, Starstorm's having problems listening, but she's in the chat room. That's the important thing. Hi, Starstorm, are you with us?
I am with you.
Yay, the gang's here.
We'll say hi to everybody in our chat room too. Optronics, Glenn, Black Project, Red Shirt number 3, Living Dangerously, Starstorm, and Evil Spock.
Evil Spock's already lost his agonizer, so I'm sure he's going to get time in the agonizer booth for that one.
I have a red vest on. Does that count? And a red shirt. Oh,
you're
no.
in trouble, Marty.
I'm gone.
Apart from that, Captain Savick is obviously in orbit with the USS Miranda. So I have my communicator, I have my tricorder, and yes, I even have my phaser standing by.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, let's hope we don't run into tribbles and other troubles.
All right. Well, let's just we got lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of things happening this weekend, this next weekend, stuff like that. So lots of stuff actually going on this whole week coming up. So we'll kind of cover a little bit of everything. Where do we want to start, though?
There's a comment from Black Project. After I made my little announcement about the Miranda, she goes, "No, she's with the Woolwich." That's quite likely. It's always good to be with the Woolwich. All the spies and everybody else wants to be there.
There you go.
But yeah, seriously, it is a good weekend. We've just gone through perigee synergy of the Earth, Moon, and Sun system. Syzygy. But it's the proper word. It's not a supermoon. That is a 1979 astrological term for when the moon is at perigee. And you can even have theoretically, you have a micromoon when it's at apogee.
Apogee.
Apogee. Hey, okay, it's late for me, guys. I've been working, okay?
Nick, maybe you should apologize for saying it that way.
Nice try, Martin. Not gonna happen. Now, space station is in the evening, fading out as it enters the Earth's shadow. Black Project has put a link to a picture he's posted and that he took into our chat room. So, if you're listening live, the chat room is where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Go to the homepage, Astronomy.FM, and you'll see where it says Radio Chat. Click on that, and then just type in a name, hit login, and you'll be here. Ask us questions. Tell us where you're listening in from. That's always fun to know.
And I want to put a very big shout out to all our friends in the Philippines and Thailand, because I've been speaking to a couple of my friends down that way, and apparently, Marty, we do quite well because the podcast of the show gets passed from person to person.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How do they pass it around?
I believe they just email it to themselves and share it through Facebook and stuff. But Hey, it is really, really nice to know we're getting listened to down there, folks.
We
Oops,
are.
sorry, that was a hamster.
Nice where the weather is warmer than here.
Yeah, and you can tell we're actually live because I have Starstorm sitting across from me. She's getting the links from the room and joining in with her comments, which we really like because, having a younger person. I am 54. I lost track of how old you are, Marty, but you know what? Having a younger person who is interested in astronomy and taking part in the show is always nice.
I'm 7 years older than you, Nick.
You're 7 years older than me. Okay, you have my commiserations there, Marty.
Yes.
Dear. No, but seriously, folks, come into the chat room, take part. We want to know where you're from. We want to hear your comments. We want to see your ideas. Share links with us. Maybe if you can get our attention whilst we're chattering.
Mm-hmm.
Starstorm will stay. She will definitely let me know, and we'll get around to having a look at the link. But
we had a question earlier that popped up about careers in astronomy.
Yeah,
astrophysics versus planetary science.
See,
and I have no opinion on this one, except that the list for careers in astronomy is extremely short. And the list for people that want to get into astronomy is really long. So that tells you something right there.
Yeah, the thing is, it's one of those interesting conundrums because most places don't teach it unless it's as a minor, particularly in the US. It's getting harder and harder to get a major in astronomy. But ironically, in London, in Leicester, in Liverpool, you can do astronomy majors. You can do them with geology, go into planetary science, as where all the action is at the moment with exoplanets and stuff. And
it's still a tough one to do, though.
Oh yes, because there's always more people chasing spots than there are in the observatories. To be honest, having a degree in astronomy, it can be very, very difficult to get a job, and we don't really observe as we used to. It's no longer the day of the Hubbles of this world, because CCDs, computers, and lovely warm rooms abound. And even at the business end of the Keck telescopes in Hawaii, you're sitting in a room that's filled with computers.
If you're using a telescope.
If you're using a telescope, yeah.
People don't even use telescopes. We had a lecture last night at our club's annual banquet and had a professional astronomer give us a talk on her research transiting extrasolar planets. And her job basically is collecting data from all different places and combining them together and then doing analysis on it. So no telescope time at all. Just basically collecting data from wherever she could and combining it together and then do computer modeling of what's happening as the planet goes in front of the star and finding out what the planet's made out of, what its atmosphere is made out of and stuff like that. So no observations that way. But there's jobs like that. There's jobs teaching astronomy in universities, obviously. Our Monday night show, from York University. That's a college in Toronto, and they broadcast on our radio here every Monday night. And they have a lot of people taking astronomy. So, and some of them go on to professional careers. So that's one way of doing it. And just look it up. Look up different ways of doing it. It is really tough. A lot more people graduate with PhDs than there are jobs available.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Glenn is asking us in the chat room, is it necessary to have a degree to be an astronomer? No. You can be an amateur astronomer like most of us are without a degree. It's kind of like we were forever hitting the books. We have the one thing that turns... Yeah, we have the one thing that turns professional astronomers green with envy. They turn them into real Hulk-type characters. Why? We have the telescopes. We have the CCDs. We are the people they depend on to get the images, to do the light curves and everything else. Because at the end of the day, fighting for time on the ESO telescopes, on Palomar, Mount Wilson, the Yerkes Observatory, is like, you got to have money. And without the money to fund the time on the big scopes, you don't get the chance to use them. However, they, through organizations like the AVSO and through various societies like the British Astronomical Society, the Royal Astronomical Society, the Pacific Society for Astronomy, the American Astronomical Association, or whatever, I forget what it's called. They actually put out requests for people to do the actual imaging, to do the light curves, to do the photometric observations. You're going to find a lot of people that when they have a potential target coming up, particularly if it's a variable star, and before Hubble can even be tasked for it, the Hubble team want at least good few months solid background.
We got a question in the chat.
Yeah, is the music in my background? Quite possibly. Thing is, we have the time, we have the inclination to actually do the work.
But that's not professional astronomy, though.
No, it's not professional astronomy.
So to answer Glenn's question, the minimum degree you really need in astronomy would be a bachelor's degree. And that would get you a position of teaching. You get a teaching certificate and teach astronomy as part of a science curriculum. I didn't need a degree. I just knew a lot of astronomy to get a job in a museum which had a telescope, and I was actually getting paid to use that telescope. Now, a professional astronomer would not call me a professional astronomer. Some astronomers called me a professional astronomer, but just because I was getting paid to use an observatory through the museum, and it wasn't much. I mean, it was like, a couple hours a month, something like that. So what do you call that? So if you really want professional, real astronomy job, you have to have at least a PhD. Some places recommend 2 majors. But it doesn't pay that much.
Well,
and jobs are few and far between. You get into teaching's okay, stuff like that. But there's just not a whole lot out there for researchers, unless you're like the top. And you want to be some of the top professional, you better be the top professional. And again, have multiple doctorates, things like that.
So, now, there's a comment in the chat room, Marty, from Redshirt 3, that there is a brand new field of astrobiology. Very correct. There's a lot of new fields coming up that are interesting because they are perhaps not main line observing. They don't require or conventional. Thank you.
Well, who's paying for that, though?
Most of that is paid for by universities.
Okay.
Now, why astrobiology? Because we want to know what life could be like on other planets. Are we going to run into Mr. Spock? Are we going to run into Klingons, Romulans, or whatever? Daleks, yes. Thank you, Starstorm. But the thing is, seriously, folks, the whole point of astrobiology is to take information and think about what life could possibly be like on other planets that we're discovering. The biggest thing at the moment, obviously, is exoplanets. We are finding them by the gazillion. Now, the thing is, then it comes down to the astrobiologist to actually figure out from possibly the signatures of the planet, from looking at the atmosphere as from spectroscopy, what
good one there, Nick,
could possibly be life like on that planet. Now, this spectroscopy is something the amateur astronomer can do. Obviously, we can't do it on exoplanets, but we can do it on comets, stars, and planets, and nebulae. So we have the facility to do it. I know a couple of people who are in the major light bucket class. They have perhaps a 0.5 meter plus Dobsonian, and they are quite capable of taking accurate spectra and providing the information to scientists. Why are we doing this? Well, yeah, it's kind of part of imaging in some respects, Starstorm, but you're quite right. But the thing is, it's coming back to the hard reality. There is not ever going to be enough time for everybody to have all the information they need from an object. We can do this. We have professional grade instruments. We have CCDs, which are cutting edge. Our telescopes are cutting edge. There's even amateur astronomers now who are literally using adaptive optics. That was the whole thing. The professionals perfected it. The amateurs are now using it. They're shooting a laser. They have capable home computers who can then control the optics by looking at the laser.
Amateurs could do a generalized astronomy to assist professionals, but that professional equipment is still way above amateur level of detail that needs to be done. That's why they're making those big telescopes, combining 8 meter mirrors together into one giant telescope, is to get the really small, difficult stuff. Is still way beyond amateur astronomers to get. Amateur astronomers can get some general detailed stuff to assist, but not going to be making that cutting-edge discoveries. Don't have access.
I agree, but the equipment we're getting, the fact that there's at least 3 amateur astronomers who are now doing adaptive optics means they are paving the way for it to become commercially available. This is the great thing about our hobby. John Dobson brought in the Dobsonian telescope because of the limitations of the Newtonian. Now,
mostly the mount.
Yeah, basically, the Dobsonian is one of the few telescopes you can point straight up. You can't do that with a Newtonian on a mount.
You can. It's just you just got to wiggle it around just right. But yeah, you can point one straight up.
You can flip a Dobsonian straight up on its mount.
Yeah, well, you can get there with a Newtonian also.
Well, as I say, I've also had to deal with the fact then you have to flip the scope and start from the other side. But
After a while, yeah.
The nice thing is we have people in our community who are capable of producing the equipment. And this is why amateur astronomers are in such demand by the professionals. We have the time, we have the equipment, and yes, we want to do it because we love being part of their paper. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Starstorm. If they use our observations, our images, they credit us on their paper. So not only are you getting to see the professional astronomers writing the paper, not only do you get to see the amateur astronomers' names come up. This is one of the best things that came out of Galaxy Zoo. We showed that amateur astronomers and citizen scientists could number crunch up there with the big boys. My computer is running 2-3 projects on a regular basis at a time. I'm sending those results back. I'm involved with an Australian project, POGS, P-O-G-S. I'm involved in, let me just pull up my copy of Bionic. I'm involved with Milky Way at home. I've just suspended Einstein at home because I'm getting a lot of errors, and I don't quite understand why, but everything else seems to be running fine. But the thing is, we have the time, we have the kit, and at the end of the day, by gosh, we want to do it.
But professional astronomer and jobs, rare, far between. I've only known a few of them. One of them was professional astronomer and then switched to a doctorate in medicine for the real job. I know somebody that wanted to go into professional astronomy, got talked into going into finance and was made much more money than an astronomer. I know a lot of astronomers are not doing astronomy. Some of them have worked at some pretty good places like Space Telescope Institute for a while, and got out of that, gone into other things. So it's really, really difficult to get a professional astronomy job and then be able to survive the lack of income doing it. So consider both ways. You want to be a professional astronomer, but consider a backup plan for money.
The nice thing is, if you get the degree, you have the knowledge. You can actually, if you get an astronomy degree, you can become a teacher because it's into physics. Mm-hmm. So it's still, in some respects, being a professional astronomer, because a lot of countries now have astronomy on the curriculum. The United Kingdom has it. Most of Western Europe has it on the curriculum. The United States has it in some degree as part of the middle school and high school curriculum.
Yeah, it's usually one semester, though, for astronomy. It's not the whole curriculum. So you're not an astronomy teacher anywhere. It's just one of the subjects mixed in with physics and things in math.
And as Red Shirt 3 is pointing out, he tells his physics students about citizen science every year. To be honest, anybody can be a scientist. It just takes application. It takes willpower. It takes getting the books out. If you want to get a degree in it, get it. It's worth having. Exactly. You can still use it even if you're using it as an amateur astronomer. Because guess what? One of the best things, I don't have a degree in astronomy. I am the first to admit it. But the most important thing to me is I am willing to share what I know, what I have. And by doing that, you will help bring on the next generation. It's our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids who are going to be making the next big set of discoveries in the universe. And even further, they could be the generation that goes to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and maybe even leave the solar system entirely, because they have what you gave them as a gift. And I think that is the most important thing, is gifting science onwards. And if you can go into a school as an amateur astronomer with a good, solid background in science, you can help form, nurture, and get us going places again.
I happen to have an alert notice from the AAVSO right now for one that's actually current for the next couple of days, so check this one out. Here's an opportunity to do some citizen science. AAVSO, American Association of Variable Star Observers, alert notice number 608, monitoring of TT Aries for VLA observations. It's a cataclysmic variable star. I think they're going to use this VLA. That's a radio telescope. They're going to use radio telescopes on this, I think. Mm-hmm. And they want some visual white light observations also at the same time, just to see what the star is doing. So they want to know if it's getting brighter, dimmer, if it's like going into a brightness that's really fast, cataclysmic. And they want these observations from December the 10th through the 12th. It says V, visual photometry, is preferred, and then U, that's ultraviolet, and then any other band. Visual observations are also welcome. So check out this alert notice and get on it. It's actually, let me see the magnitude here. Aries is well placed in the early part of the evening, kind of between Pegasus and Orion area. Has a range of 10th magnitude to 16th magnitude. And it said as of November the 29th and 30th, it was about 10.8 magnitude.
Now, Redshirt 3 points out that during the last transit of Mercury, he had a scope with a sun filter, and all the science teachers brought out their students to see this once in a lifetime occasion. That's brilliant, because that's the type of thing we need to have done. We need to get people looking through a telescope or looking through binoculars. That way they can actually see something. It's not just looking at a big glossy coffee table book of the latest NASA images. It's actually getting the Mark 1 eyeball onto the object and getting it out there, getting outside, looking at the sky and seeing what's going on. You know what? Shall we do this week's Sky at a Glance, Marty?
Yeah, we should do a Sky at a Glance. We got a bunch of stuff coming up too. So yeah, let's get into that.
Okay, so I'll put the link into the chat room. Then I will segue into my regular
spiel.
Spiel. Thank you. Okay, so Mother of all Geminids makes a near-Earth pass. The asteroid 3200 Pantheon, source of the Geminid meteoroid stream, should reach about 11th magnitude from December 12th through the 17th. It's going to pass about several million miles from Earth. That's bright enough for a medium-sized telescope. I have
some finder charts I'll put in when you're done.
Please do, yeah. Great. Now, it's going to be perfectly placed high in the evening sky. See the finder charts from Marty and on the article I just posted. So, Friday, December the 8th. Bright Vega still shines well up in the west-northwest after dark. At this time of the year, the brightest star above it is, of course, Deneb, the head of the Big Northern Cross, which is formed by the brightest stars of Cygnus. At nightfall, Cygnus the Swan, thank you. Okay, so the brightest stars of Cygnus, it's at nightfall, the shaft of the cross extends from lower left from Deneb. By about 11 p.m., the cross plants itself more or less upright on the northwest horizon. For Saturday the 9th, the W pattern of Cassiopeia stands on end in early evening, very high in the northeast. The bottom star of the W is Epsilon Cassiopeiae. That's your starting point for hunting down the little-known star cluster, Colliander 463. Sparse and loose, but visible in binoculars. It's 8 degrees to Epsilon's north, the direction towards Polaris. And is surrounded by a nice quadrilateral of 4th and 5th magnitude stars about 3 degrees wide. So if you have the Sky and Telescope Pocket Atlas, use chart number 1, or Matt Widdell's binocular highlights column, which is published in the December Sky and Telescope. Okay, last quarter moon, exact at 2:51 p.m. on the 10th Eastern Standard Time. The moon rises around 11 or midnight tonight in the head of Virgo below Leo. On Sunday, this time of the year, Ursa Major lies lowest soon after dark, due north. It's entirely below the north horizon if you're as far south as Miami, but by midnight, Ursa Major is standing upright on its handle in fine view in the northeast. Monday brings Orion coming into good view low in the east after dinner time, which means Gemini is also coming up to its left for the world's mid-northern latitudes. The head stars of Gemini, twins Castor and Pollux, are to the left end of the constellation, one over the other with Castor on top. Now, have you noticed any Geminid meteors yet? Well, see Wednesday. In the dawn of Wednesday, the 13th, the thin waning crescent moon hangs above Little Mars in the southeast. As shown at right, Spica is a little brighter, shines further to the moon's left. Now, further down left of the moon, you'll find a much brighter Jupiter. Yes, the planets are back! Okay, Wednesday, the Geminid meteor shower should be at its peak late tonight.
Yeah, we're in for it.
And there's no moon to interfere. Bundle up nice and warm, bring a reclining lawn chair, or if you're British like me, a deck chair. And an open view of the sky. Lie back, gaze into the stars, and be patient. Under a dark sky, you might see a meteor at least once a minute. On average, light pollution cuts down numbers. There's a really good article on Sky and Telescope about the coming meteor shower. You'll find most meteors from about 10 p.m. till dawn local time, when your side of the Earth turns to face most directly into the incoming stream. But any that you see early in the evening when the shower's radiant is Gemini is still low, and it will be long, dramatic Earth grazers skimming into the upper atmosphere at a shallow angle. In early dawn of Thursday the 14th, Jupiter shines below or lower right of the thin waning crescent moon. A nice sign-off for an early morning Geminid watch. Okay, Thursday the 14th. The 5 brightest stars of Cassiopeia are usually called a W. At nightfall, the W stands on end, very high in the northeast, but by mid-evening turns over to become a very flattened M, even higher, high in the north. Explore Cassiopeia's leading telescopic jewels. There are many there. And I recommend you get my friend Sue French's Deep Sky Wonders book and look at her article. Friday, and we should be back again, but we'll probably be starting off with Saturday. As the summer triangle sinks into the west, Altair is the first of its stars to go. Start by spotting bright Vega in the northwest right after dark. The brightest star above Vega is Deneb. Altair, the triangle's third star, is further to Vega's left or lower left. How late in the night and into the advancing season can you keep it into view? That would be a good challenge. As dawn begins to brighten on the morning of Saturday the 15th, look low in the southeast for the thinning crescent moon. It forms the end of a ragged diagonal line with Jupiter, Mars and Spica extending to its upper right. And a small telescope and binoculars will show you Jupiter's moons, Ganymede, Callisto and Europa, bunched in a tight little triangle off the planet's western upper right side. So there you are. There's some nice highlights for this week. Now, I'll be honest. I find using binoculars to be fun for some of the planets. Certainly for Mars, certainly with Jupiter. But I am really looking forward. I'm in the middle of upgrading my telescope. So any bad weather, you can blame me. What am I getting for my telescope? I've got a GPS unit for it already. I'm planning to actually fit electronic focusing controls and stepper motors.
The wish list will start in a few minutes.
No, we're going to keep the big wish list for the pre-Christmas show.
Is the GPS unit for your telescope so that you know where to find it in your closet?
No, the GPS is so I can just put the scope up anywhere I like. And then it can just sync with the satellites, and it can just run. Yes, I'm being reminded that
Christmas is on a Monday this year.
So, do you think we're going to have the last Friday before Christmas as a show, Marty?
Let's see, the Friday before, which is the 22nd. Depends if our radio directors are available. That would be okay with me. So we'll see who's in town and who's out of town.
Yeah, maybe we should just have a go through a wish list of what the Sky Guys would like for Christmas.
There
of course,
you go.
the really great thing is we're going to give you a very nice Christmas present. Under British Skies is coming back. We're not going to be live, but we're going to be recorded. Well, no doubt we'll be using the chat room when we're recording the show. And, of course, the great thing is it will be astronomy from a British point of view. I'm sure quite a few remember the show. It's been, I think, a couple of years now since we last did one. We've been in hiatus. We've been getting everything sorted out. We are coming back. Scheduling conflicts. And to be honest, that is what I'm going to claim for no Comet Watch this month. We had scheduling conflicts and family issues. So, unfortunately, the next Comet Watch will be the December issue. We didn't do a November show.
I also wanted to mention that between the traditional holiday of Christmas and New Year's, we will be. We usually just play music through that whole week. So everybody kind of takes a week off and they just rack up a whole bunch of music. So that'll be our program. So we don't have a space pirate on Wednesday. We won't have a Event Horizon on Friday. York, I don't think so either. No, because I think our directors.
Christmas Day.
I think that's true. Our directors will be gone. All right.
Our directors will be like us. They'll be raising a glass and chewing on a turkey.
Yeah, either sitting in front of an electric heater or in someplace else that's actually warm.
Actually, I've decided what my Christmas present is going to be to myself, but I will tell you in the next show.
All right. We're about halfway through our program, so let's just do another little quick station identification. You're listening to the Event Horizon here on Astronomy.FM radio. It is December the 8th, 2017. Halfway through our program. It's also known as December the 9th, Universal Time, about 2:30 in the morning or so. So continuing listening, we got another half-hour program, and then we got more programs come up, and we'll repeat this program and the rest of those every 4 hours for the next 24 hours. So during this live part, come on over to the Astronomy.FM chat room. That's what we're looking at right now. We've got you and me. We've got Optronics, Glenn, Black Projects, Red Shirt number 3, Starstorm, Evil Spock, Patient, and Aquafew. in our chat room right now. Come on over and join us.
Now,
Ask
I believe
questions if you like.
Patient is a new guest. Patient, would you like to tell us where you're from, please? Where you're listening from?
I think Patient's been here before under different names.
Yeah?
Akron, stuff like Akron. Yep.
Yeah?
I think so.
Ah. Is it Komoko, Tahiti?
Kokomo, Tahiti, a warm place to go.
I like. If it's December, it's got to be chilly.
Well, you know, if you around the world have heard of a state called Louisiana, that's where the Mississippi River goes out into the Gulf of Mexico. They had snow today.
They had snow in Texas.
Yeah, and Louisiana.
It
so
was
it's
a disaster.
Cold. Yes.
Everywhere, apparently.
All right. Aqua says who wins the lottery, we're all going to Tahiti for the winter.
That could be fun.
Sounds good to me. Somebody accidentally forgets to give me a return ticket, I'll be just fine.
Yeah, I can just see you liking that, Marty, being left on the beach.
The snow should have.
I think I can. I might even be willing to sacrifice being there without a telescope, but it would be tough.
Optronics says that she is from Portugal or Brazil. Either way, Patience, welcome to the chat room. Nice to see you.
Let me put in, the couple star charts I said for the asteroid Pathan. Let's see. This one is from Astronomy Now. And they were talking a little bit about parallax. I don't know how much parallax there will be if you're in different parts of the world, but you get you pretty close. So it's going to be about 11, 12th magnitude, so it's going to be pretty tough to see anyways. Here's one from Sky and Telescope. This one's a pretty good article with star charts. It's got some really detailed star charts in it, so check this one out for sure. This is probably going to be the one that you really need for something that dim because it's got some... it's got a generalized star chart. Basically, where we're going to go back to, let me go to the other one here. The one from Astronomy Now that has a generalized path from Auriga, which has a bright star Capella, going through Perseus, kind of skimming the eastern portion of Andromeda, and then going into Pegasus, the 18th. And a lot of that's like some Auriga, that's Milky Way zone, so there's a lot of stars there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of 11th and 12th magnitude stars there, so it'll be moving at a bit of a pace too, so you're really going to have to basically get to a spot ahead of time, spend enough time to identify the stars in your field of view. There's going to be a lot of faint ones there. You might want to do a little sketch of the stars in your field of view. And then it might be a little bit of time where you might be able to notice something that will move. And you might need to, maybe it moved, maybe it didn't move. So, when you got a little bit of a gap between stars and there's one in between them, kind of hard to tell if it's actually moved. Was it a third of the way over? Or was it halfway over? Not quite sure. Well, keep watching. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge at that magnitude. And you're going to have a fairly big telescope too. So. Talking like the 18-inch size, 12-inch to 18-inch size telescope at least to get an observation of this one.
Redshirt has pointed out that an asteroid big enough to destroy New York just passed by and NASA missed it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was only like 100-some feet across or something like that, I think.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is that American astronomer and comet researcher Fred Whipple was the one who really noticed that Phaeton's orbit matched that of the Geminids, which clinked it as the shower's source.
Mm-hmm. I got a link here to this. Is a pretty good American Meteor Society. It's got a pretty good page here. Let me put that in our chat room. And there's more than one meteor shower going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see the whole article. Where was that article I had? Oh, let me see. Click on the very top picture, that fireball looking there, and then it links to another article about meteor activity outlook for December 9th through the 15th of 2017. It's got a list of different ones. I'll give you an idea. There's the monoceroids. Monoceroids. There you go. Monoceros is a constellation that's just east of Orion. That's got activity from the 27th of November through the 27th of December, peaking around December the 13th with the Geminids. The November Orionids are happening now. Geminids, of course, the Puppid Velids, Puppis and Vela for Southern Hemisphere observers. Sigma Hydrids. I've got the December Leonus Minorids, Leo Minor. Psi Ursa Majorids. December Sigma Virginids, Virgo. December Alpha Draconids, constellation of Draco, high in the northern hemisphere, and then a whole list of them when they peak in their counts and stuff like that. So there's quite a few meteor showers going on right now. So if you watch them very carefully and you can kind of trace them back, look at this list, kind of keep the list with you, and see if it happens to be in the direction of one of these other constellations. It might be one of the minor meteor showers that are also going on right now. So it could be a good variety of meteors if you get out there. Especially next weekend, it's a little bit better because the moon's out of the way. Right now we're about last quarter, so that last quarter moon usually rises, 2 in the morning or something like that, and causes a bit of glow. But after midnight's the best time to see a meteor shower because we're more turned in towards them. So it's going to be a little bit of a battle between getting rid of the last quarter moon and getting towards new moon. But hopefully we'll get some good ones this time of the year, if you can avoid the clouds, of course.
Yes, well, no one has actually yet invented a very good version of cloud away.
Yeah, it's called space.
Yes, it's called. Do you actually own your own space-borne telescope?
Or space station.
Or space station, yes. There's always
or
that.
Moonbase Alpha.
Moonbase Alpha would be very nice, thank you. Yes, I'll take an Eagle transporter, thank you. And sit out there observing the heavens, yes.
But what will you not see from Moonbase Alpha or your own space station?
What's that, Marty?
Meteor showers.
You might see them looking down on the atmosphere, perhaps. To be honest, my favorite meteor shower list is from the International Meteor Organization, from www.imo.net. They actually produce an annual calendar, and everybody feeds, all the world's organizations like American Meteor Society and everything feeds into IMO. I'm a member. Before anybody says, yeah, I'm pushing them, yeah, I am a member. But I like the fact they have a great website, they have some great information, and they have a conference on a regular basis. And hang on, I'm having my shoulder tapped.
I love YouTube links.
Yes, there's some very good, very, very important YouTube links to SpaceX, NASA, and ESA. Thank you, Starstorm.
Because I like making life difficult.
Yeah, it's if you've got a home, you don't need a homemade radio telescope to listen to meteors. You can use a commercial built FM set. You just tune to a distant FM station you can't regularly receive, and then when you hear it for brief snatches of seconds, that's when you know that meteor's gone through, because the VHF FM signal is being bounced off the ion trail from the meteor. And of course, you can always do it the really fun way, which is what I like to do, is using JT65 and a transceiver on VHF frequencies. Some of us do it on 77's UHF, and we're deliberately bouncing signals off the meteor trails.
And you're listening to the radio, of course, the odds are you will always catch a brief few seconds of a commercial.
Yeah, that's always going to happen. But
never,
you know
never
what?
The music that you like.
If you know how far away the station is, if it's from over your horizon, then you know you're listening to something that's bounced off a meteor trail. Because that's the only time you can do DX with VHF, unless there's, of course, a sporadic E or there's ducting. But during a meteor storm or meteor shower, guaranteed, if you're hearing a distant radio station that's over your horizon, it's because of a meteor trail.
I was watching an old movie, and they were on the moon, and they had the flaming meteor, almost hit them. I'm thinking, no, that's not going to happen. There's no flaming meteors going to be flying into the moon.
No, but we will see the impact.
Yes.
So what you're doing, you're looking at first or last quarter moon.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking during a meteor shower.
Mm-hmm.
There is a book by Brian Koldnick on observing lunar micrometeorite impacts, which goes into the whole kit and caboodle. It is quite an involved setup if you're going to video record them, because you have to superimpose not only the timing, but the GPS location information.
Now, I think in that first quarter is a good time for meteor impacts because you have the dark side of the moon traveling into you're going to be catching the meteors, or a very thin crescent early in the morning.
Basically,
last quarter's not good.
Any time before or after full moon is the best time.
Now, last quarter's not good because that's the daylight side of the moon that would get hit. Almost impossible to see any meteors hitting that time.
If it's daylight in the UK and you've got the moon up, it's still dark in the US, and the moon's in your morning sky. The other thing is, this is a time to be watching Jupiter. If Jupiter is visible to your telescope, this is something you need to be watching, because Jupiter is like a giant vacuum cleaner.
And sometimes it rolls back at us.
Sometimes it sucks debris in, sometimes it kicks us at us. Yes, it is. Then maybe the moon takes it, maybe we take it. But the interesting thing is, with Jupiter, this is using video more than actual regular imaging. You can catch impacts. We've had Shoemaker-Levy 9. Yeah, we've had Anthony Weasley's impact. We've had Chris Goes. I think there's been a couple more since then, but each one of them is always valuable to record it. And the other thing is,
we never expect it to happen. That's the problem.
Yeah, after Shoemaker-Levy 9, everybody got complacent. Oh, it's not going to happen again.
And then 2009 rolls around.
2009, Anthony Weasley stuns the whole world.
Song about that.
Stuns the whole world.
But you know why it would not really be a good time to look at Jupiter during a meteor shower for impacts?
Because it's going to be in front of your face anyway. But the thing is, go on then, Marty.
Wrong orbit.
Yeah.
All the impacts are only going to be in something in Earth orbit. So the meteors that are going through Earth's orbit are not going into Jupiter's orbit. So you would have to really find a meteor shower that is going to pass through Jupiter's orbit while Jupiter is there.
The best thing about Jupiter is that the events tend to be totally random.
Well, those type of things, but but there's got to be regular meteor showers.
I suppose there would be.
That would be, in Jupiter orbit. So I wonder if something, what's that space probe, Juno space probe? I wonder if it would be able to, if it's actually picked up some fireballs.
That would be a very good bet. And of course, if we know there's an event going to happen, particularly like Shoemaker-Levy 9. Then we had Hubble, we had Galileo. Galileo was not supposed to be imaging Jupiter impacts. However, it was decided by the powers that be they were going to use a big chunk of Galileo's fuel to reorientate it to cover the Shoemaker-Levy 9 impact. And to be honest, it's just as well as they did. Because it gave us it was different instruments looking at different wavelengths, and it really did add some tremendous data to what was being gleaned. We had Earth-based telescopes, we had the Hubble, and then we had Galileo, all watching this one event. And the greatest thing about it was, of course, it was a planet-wide event for us, because as the Earth rotated, different countries came on stream to monitor the Jovian impacts. And I think this, again, shows you how good amateur astronomers are, because we can use this to hand over observations.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, we have the potential literally to hand over an event to another astronomer in a different country. As dawn comes, say, in the UK, hand it over to say, the US. As dawn comes into the US from East Coast, hand it over to the West Coast, and then to the Pacific Rim countries to take part and to gather the information and collect it all together. That is perhaps the greatest thing about amateur astronomy. And it makes it all worthwhile, because we have high-speed video cameras, we have GPS equipment, we have timekeeping equipment that can all be integrated. We have the ability. The IOTA group can sell you for a reasonable cost the equipment you need to do this. And so that when you're imaging, particularly at video, it will put the GPS information, it will put the timings, so you can actually, everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
If back in the Victorian days, it was difficult because we were using Diraga type imaging. Astro imaging was very, very crude. We just really didn't have it. We had enterprising people who were trying it for the first time, and as they tried it, they used glass photographic plates at their telescope. We're talking long exposures. Then Kodak Eastman come into existence. We got proper films. We then started playing. We then turned chemists, because we started hyperizing our films with chemicals to improve the imaging and the grain and everything, and how much sensitivity you could get out of it. And then, of course, we made the big mistake. We took them to our local photo lab. Oh, nothing with your films. It's a bunch of blank things. And you went, ah!
No, sometimes I did.
What was there?
Sometimes I did good that way. I used slide film, and I told them, don't cut it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they cut through the middle of the picture, but I told them, don't cut it. And they would look at the images and go, they all came out blank. They're free. So sometimes it worked out pretty good if you did it just right.
Hey, Marty, here's a question for us.
What's the question?
How big of a space rock would it be to produce an extra large bruise on Jupiter? I think we're talking something like the size of a comet.
Yeah, a couple of miles, something like that.
A couple of miles across, yeah. Thank you, Starstorm. That's a lovely question. We appreciate it.
I think that's the size of the Shoemaker-Levy 9 comets, or maybe a couple miles, something like that. Yeah. Got launch coming up Tuesday, December 12th. The SpaceX cargo mission to the International Space Station is going to launch at 11:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's for the eastern portion of North America. So tune in to NASA television.
There's a weather report breaking, Marty. The Mars weather report is as follows. For Sol, 1896, December 6, 2017. Sunny high, minus 23 degrees Celsius, minus 9 Fahrenheit. Pressure is a whopping 8.12 HPA. And daylight is from 5:51 a.m. to 17:34 hours. So in other words, on Mars, it's cold.
Yeah, it's about like here right now. That's all.
Yeah, I suppose it's like a northern US winter.
That's right.
A snow zone astronomer's winter, which is why we all stay in and run our telescopes remotely if we can, or we use a remote telescope. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hang on. I'm just getting a message. Hang on. What's it? Hang on. This is the away team to USS Miranda. Captain, we got your message. We're getting together, and we're ready for beam out. 3 to beam out. And please, in the name of Surak, get us out of here fast. Marty's in a red shirt.
We got an ion storm heading this way, and there's only 3 transporter spots, and 4 people got to go up. Who pushed me? All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, we got more programming coming up for the next couple of hours, and everything repeated for the next 4 hours. Appreciate everybody being in here in our chat room tonight. Thanks for all coming around. We'll be around next weekend, too. So thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
We hope that you've enjoyed this program from AFM Radio, the broadcast service of Astronomy.FM. This program has been released under Creative Commons license. Please contact us for details. You may find more of our AFM original programs on our website. It's really easy to find us. We are Astronomy.FM. You may also find us in the iTunes radio listings near the top of the News Talk section, and also as an iTunes podcast selection. We'd love to hear your comments. Please email us at radio@astronomy.fm. Thanks so much for being part of the voice of astronomy around the world and across the known universe. This is Astronomy.FM Radio.
Hi, this is Tavi Greiner, Astronomy.FM's Vice President of Communications. If you enjoy our programming, please let us know with a donation to Astronomy.FM/donate. We really do rely on your support, and it's true, every little bit counts.
AFM.
There I was, doing my thing. And all of a sudden, wham! Astronomy right between the eyes.